Hey, hi there. Hi, everyone. This is another interview. Today we're talking with Adam Pearce, and this is interview in the series of interviews with entrepreneurs in the UK. So, Adam, thank you so much for joining me today. I know how busy you are. I know that you manage your own company, you do some stuff for charity, and generally life is so busy now. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Cool. So, Adam, we find out about each other through some work we can maybe do in the future. And I know now that your company, Minerva Innovation Group, helps a lot of SMEs and big companies as well. Could you talk me through a bit what Minerva does and what kind of clients are you helping with? No, what did you say?
Of course.
Yeah. What kind of stuff you helping your clients with? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So in the most simplistic terms, we produce funding for research companies, or we help companies who conduct research access sources of government funding. And obviously, as part of our business model, we help them access, X, say £1,000, and then we would take a cut of that. So there are different funding schemes available. It could be in relation to work that you intend to do in the future, and you wish to access funding for that. Or it may relate to research that you've already done in the past, and you might want to reimburse some of these costs. But in essence, we help companies access funding for research they do.
Yes. So basically, you help companies get money, which is please do. Another thing is about tax relief.
Yeah.
Could you just say a few words about this? Because I think it's a fantastic service you do, and people should know about it.
Of course. So the R&D tax scheme is a retrospective scheme. So we're looking back at the last 2 years, analyze what the company has done from a technical point of view, then cross-reference that with the applicable legislation, HMRC guidelines, to see what qualifies and what doesn't qualify. Following that technical analysis, we really do a financial analysis, look at the company's accounts and tax position and payroll, etc., to quantify that technical activity. And it's very much a case of, I can go into more detail, but I don't want to bore you with it because I don't think everyone finds tax interesting, but depending on the company's tax position, we can realize a tax reduction for them or a tax refund. And even if a company is in a loss position, they can receive a payable cash credit. So when people hear tax or tax relief, they always think, well, I'm not making a profit, so I can't benefit from it. But actually, if you're in a loss position, as odd as it sounds, you can still benefit from a tax relief scheme.
I love this. This could be a blog, Adam. All the time you speak to me, with me, I always like, oh my gosh, it will be such a cool art. If you're in a loss, you still can get money from government. Yeah, that sounds fantastic. So if, for example, as I understand, I'm doing some research, maybe I'm developing a new software, or I created a website on WordPress by myself even, but I paid for some subscriptions, I paid for some for something while I was doing it, or I used some other companies to help me with the WordPress website. I can claim this money from taxes kind of situation.
Yeah, so in terms of the technical element, the project itself, again, without going into too much detail, it has to be technically challenging work. So a competent professional in the field, so somebody like you, when it comes to software, it really comes down to what are you comfortable with, and where do you feel like you are pushing the state of the art, where you're pushing the boundaries. And that's really what we want to focus at. What are the boundaries that you are pushing? In terms of the costs and that tie into that, there is obviously an R&D team involved with that work. And as you said, there are staffing costs, so people such as yourself. And if you liaise with subcontractors, those are costs that we can look at as well.
Fantastic. We can pause, Adam.
Sorry, Anna, yeah, I've got a call.
Go for it.
We just pause that for a few seconds.
Hello. So yeah, that's That's very technical. Is your background in this area, or how did you find out that there is a problem in the market and there is something missing, there is a niche?
Yeah, so in terms of my background, so I have a postgrad in advanced biomedical science and in finance. And I kind of think, that is, one of our sort of, selling points, where accountants, they are obviously fantastic with the numbers, but they usually don't have a science background. And scientists are fantastic with their specialism, or scientists or engineers or software individuals. They're good with what they do, but not so good with the numbers. And we're trying to marry those two skill sets, where we have developers do the software reports that are drafted. We have, medics review the medical science reports. And so that's my background. It's sort of a hybrid background.
So you have the best from both worlds. That's amazing. I've been telling my partner about your background, in fact, and he has a degree in pharmacology, I want to say.
In what, sorry?
He has degree in pharmacology, I want to say. I'm not sure if it's pharmacology. I always missing his background. And he was like, oh, that sounds fantastic. So I was like, are you always also kind of, oh, I want to do this research or that research? Do you have this, how to say it? Do you have this eagerness to do research, to do academic work, or you now completely in entrepreneurship mode?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So when I did my master's in biomedical science, obviously it was about, I had half a year until graduation, and I knew, okay, I need to figure out, what do I want to do? So there were a number of, obvious paths. I could go into the lab and just do research.
Yeah.
I could go into politics, and obviously, health policy research, that kind of stuff. Or I could go into finance.
Yeah.
And be, the science consultant, whatnot. So those were the main things. And I thought about that. I spent a lot of time thinking about that. And I reached out to a lot of companies and organizations, because I thought, okay, I'll do a lot of work experience free of charge. And I did a number of stuff. I did 2 internships, and one was in Parliament. It was actually as a health policy research intern. That wasn't even a position that was available. I just reached out to the local MP and said, can you create an internship for me? I'll do it free of charge, whatever you need. I'll just be there every Thursday. You don't even have to cover my travel expenses. I'll find a way. Because at that time I was making like minus £300 a month as a student, and then I was looking for free internships, or creating free internships. The other one was in a lab, so it was a startup biomed lab, and I just said, look, again, I'll do it free of charge if I can just watch you guys 9 to 5. I'm happy with that. If I can do some hands-on stuff, some assisting, then that is cool too. And it turned out to be a mix, basically. But I did a lot of shadowing. So I did a lot of internships to just try and find out, what do I want to do. Ultimately, I found that the lab wasn't as interesting to me as finance. I just thought, I don't know what it is about finance. Well, I have a sporting background, and I was always very competitive. And I think you can translate or transfer that competitive nature from sports into finance quite easily.
Yeah.
You can't really do that in a lab. So I think, so being in finance, I get to, do what I really enjoy, and still be sort of loyal, so to speak, to the scientific community.
That's amazing. That's very interesting. I think you kind of showed your entrepreneurial spirit when you were pitching those internships to local MP and to that company in biomed. That tells a lot about the person. And this is kind of one of the questions I always ask: what does entrepreneurship means to you? What does it to you?
I think to me, it's just creating something out of nothing, really. So if we talk about these internships, you know, they didn't exist.
Yeah.
You know, I just created something out of nothing. And if you, you know, so that was a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. If you would have looked at my LinkedIn messages at the time, I was messaging so many people, and it was really just, hi, my name is Adam Hammerschmidt at the time. I'm just doing my master's. May I shadow you? I'll do it free of charge. And it was so many messages. So yeah, I think it's just creating something out of nothing. And it's the same with finance, especially, you know, during COVID with a work from home model. You know, your resources are really your laptop, your phone, and yourself. And then you just, you know, especially in a service industry, it's so intangible. It's just creating something out of nothing.
And it's like work so much sometimes, right? Just you and your skill set, and it's everything you need, which is surprising. So the kind of entering into this entrepreneurship landscape cost is very low if you know what you're doing, or even you don't know what you're doing, but you want to try to do it. You have all the opportunities to do it. I was just on a call with RBS Accelerator in London, and one of you do a lot of networking there, and one of the people, one of the entrepreneurs there, they asked the question, well, I have full-time job and I have this side project. How did you guys decided to do this leap of faith and quit your full-time job and kind of lose all of this money? And a lot of people were like, hey, do you have a family? Do you have mortgages? And he was like, no, I don't have anything. But like, well, just go for it. And I was like, well, if you're asking this question, maybe you shouldn't. How you've done it? How was for you this decision? Was it easy to make?
Yes. Yes, it was easy to make. Yeah, of course. I mean, there is a big cloud of uncertainty. You know, you go from having a guaranteed salary once a month to obviously not being guaranteed. There are because we work in finance, there are multiple, you know, outside variables that could impact us. You know, if the it's a number of government schemes. If the government says, look, because of COVID, we are not going to give any more money to any research companies ever, or for the next 10 years, obviously, then that would impact us massively. So it's really, there's a lot of uncertainty, but, you know, it's worth it. You know, if you're passionate about something, then you're willing to take the risk. And obviously in our case, it paid off. So, but yeah, it's something that you wouldn't just, you know, willy-nilly do. It takes a lot of planning and, you know, just carefully thinking about, do you want to make these sacrifices to run a company? Do you know, want to go from sleeping 8 hours to 6 hours? Do you want to, for the first year that you're building a company, do you want to perhaps, you know, if need be, not go on holiday, you know, not eat out, you know, do whatever it takes? But yeah, I could go on, but yeah, it's a risk, but I've happily taken that risk.
Yeah, it's something you had to do. It's not even a choice. If you have to do it, you're gonna do it. It's all the people I know who are entrepreneurs, they didn't have this choice, they just had to do it. I don't know how it works, it's just, yes, I have to do it. My co-founder and I often say that entrepreneurs are just a bit crazy. So in a good way.
Yeah, no, I mean they are, because if you say to somebody, oh, would you like a guaranteed salary once a month and, you know, a reasonable amount of sleep, or would you like to be sleep deprived and have this, as I said, cloud of uncertainty about everything? You know, no sane person would say, yeah, let's just risk everything. I've got a mortgage and a kid, whatever. Let's just risk everything. It is a bit crazy, but
But it's worth
good
it.
fun as well.
It's fun. It's really fun. It's worth it, as I always say. Yeah. So entrepreneurship is very demanding. It's very demanding lifestyle. So you have your job as like, okay, not job, you have your company, which is a lot to take on. And for example, myself, I always feel guilty if I'm not working. So if I have time off, I really feel guilty about it. But it's my own inner demon. I don't know. So what about your life behind the company? Who's Adam behind the company? What do you do? I know you do some work with charity. Do you wanna say a few words about that?
Of course. So I'm a trustee, one of 3 trustees of a charity. I'm the treasurer, so it worked out quite. I mean, it makes sense. So basically, obviously, with the business, I produce funding for research companies, and as a treasurer, I'm trying to produce funding for the charity. So I'm doing a very similar job, but it's just a different type of, a different source of government funding, so to speak. So I always knew that I wanted to give back to the community, and I always assumed that would be in the form of charity, whether that is, through financial or, through money or time. But I wanted to give back in some way. Now, through connections, I basically found out about this social outreach program called Rising Stars, and they weren't formalized as a charity. And I started talking with them, and I said, "Look, this is what I do for a living. Perhaps I can help you out, create some funding for you guys, and then see where it takes us." And they were very kind, and they took me in. And I said, "Look, guys, how about we, get some fundraising going on GoFundMe? How about we formalize this into a charity and, start a bank account, et cetera, et cetera." So really, I took on what most people perhaps find boring, the admin and financials, but I find it a bit interesting. So I took that on, and in the grand scheme of things, the charity is still in its infancy stage. And because of COVID, it's really just trying to front load as much admin as possible. We're basically, what the charity does is, as I said, a social outreach program, and we offer basketball classes to schools from disadvantaged communities, and then we branch that out into various mentorship programs. If they need any help prepping for their CVs, that's something that we would be happy to accommodate as well. So it's really just giving back to the community, but with the socially, social distance guidelines in Scotland is a bit tricky, especially with basketball and all the other things.
Yeah, that's fantastic, Adam. That's amazing that you have this as something to give back, and you want to give back. That's very admirable. You have sport background, you mentioned previously. Do you wanna tell us a bit more about it, and how does it help you now, having your own company and working in this very competitive landscape?
Of course. So yeah, I mean, when you say sport, what it really is basketball. I'm not sure if, we'll never know, but I wonder how sporty I would actually be if I wouldn't have found basketball.
How tall are you? That's a good question for a basketball player.
6'5".
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, I started playing when I was sort of 12, going 13. So it's the under 14 age category, and I just fell in love with it. And my life mission was then, my number one item on my bucket list, so to speak, was just playing basketball professionally. And for me, the most important thing is really just seeing how, if I'm passionate about something, it's just to see how good I could be at it. And it didn't even matter ultimately what league I could play in and how many points I could score. That was all secondary. The most important thing was, what happens if I give 100%, over many, many years. So yeah, it was really the center of my life, basketball. And as I said, my bucket list was to play basketball professionally. And when I was at university, I was lucky enough to sign a contract for the British Basketball League. I was obviously, while I was a student, so I was pretty committed, but still have my lectures and stuff. So my intention was very much to, once I concluded university, to perhaps spend 1 or 2 years just playing to see how good could I actually be if I have no lectures, no other commitments, just train and sleep and eat all day long. But at the end of university, I had a pretty bad ankle injury. So my professional career was very short. It was just limited to when I was at university. And then, as I said, I kind of took that mentality, that kind of mindset of developing myself and being competitive and trying, when I say competitive, it's really competitive with my previous self, who I was yesterday, who was last week, and just converted that from sports into finance, as I said. And it's been good fun. Honestly, I never thought I'd be as passionate about something, professionally, as I was about basketball, but I found a way through finance.
That's fantastic. And my last question, what the most important in life?
What's the most important?
In life, 3 things.
In life, oh.
3 words, 3 words. Let's limit ourselves.
In 3 words, what's the most important thing in life?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I think just family, to be honest. That is, so family is the number one, because I'm married, and that will always be the center of my life. Obviously, I'm only 28 years old or young, so obviously to have a family would be nice. But yeah, that is the number one most important thing. The 3 is okay. The second would be just being proud of what you do. Really being able to every night, look yourself in the mirror and be able to say, look, I'm proud of what I've done today. I'm proud of the work that I've put in today. When it comes New Year's Eve, just being able to look back at the year and say, I am proud of what I've achieved. So just working hard and being proud is number 2. And number 3, so family, I guess, pride, and then the third is, I guess, just happiness. I think in this day and age, people take themselves way too seriously. But I don't know why. I think we should just, it's good to be obviously serious at work and being competitive, but I think, a good balance should be met of, being able to laugh about yourself and, say you work 9 to 5, come 5 p.m., you just don't take yourself too seriously. So just laugh. So yeah, family, passion, I guess, and just happiness.
Beautiful words, Adam. Majority of people always say that most important thing is family. So every time I hear that, I feel so much better about our future as a society, because by the end of the day, whoever we are, whatever we do, everything we try to achieve is happiness for our families. And I think that's amazing. That's the most important. I completely agree. Family is number 1.
What are your top 3 words then?
Yeah, nobody asked me. So
I'm curious now.
Adam, you're cheeky interviewee. Yes, my first one definitely will be family. My mom lives, my dad and mom, they live far away, so I miss them terribly. So I would love to spend more time with them, and family is number 1 for me. My second one will be giving back to community. To be honest, we're very similar to yours. Giving back to community and being proud of who I am as a person, because when you're trying to achieve different things, sometimes we forget to ask ourselves why we're doing it, and is it good what we're doing, or we're just doing it for selfish reasons only. So this is kind of I'm trying to work on recently. And the third part is enjoy ourselves. So I would just use your words. I'm telling you, you said it much better than me. Yeah, so yeah, just those three most important. Yeah, I wish also to travel a bit more. I do wanna explore more. I'm adventurer by nature, so I wish I could explore more this life, but because of COVID, everything I can go is basically another room, which is annoying.
Yeah.
So I kind of miss out on this. Adam, thank you so much for this. It was fantastic interview, and I think viewers which gonna see it gonna get a lot from first of all opportunities we can get from Minerva Innovation Group as a funding and tax relief help, and from you as a person and your drive and your resilience for the sport injuries, and to transforming this amazing experience in sport, in basketball, into entrepreneurial drive, financial passion. So thank you so much. I'm very looking forward working with you, and wish you amazing 2022.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
All right.